everyone, it's Margaret Manning here. Welcome to 60 and Me. This is the place where women who are aging beautifully come to be inspired. My guest today is Denise McAdam. Denise is a very well-known hairdresser in the United Kingdom. She's been doing her magic for about 40 years now, and she has really worked with some incredible people, celebrities and the royal family in the UK. Denise has a special award actually in the UK from the Queen herself. It's the Royal Victoria Medal, which means that she's been working with the royal family and has their appreciation and thanks. I think it's a huge honor. So thank you so much for being here, Denise.
You're welcome. Lovely to join you.
It's been a while. We talked about a year ago, and I've got some more questions for you. And I just wanted people to know how just experienced you are in this area. So thanks for your input.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, 60 is a difficult age on many levels for women, and our community is facing that big question of how do I transition from my beautiful dark brown, black, blonde hair to gray? And I'd love you to
difficult.
But I'd love you to help us here. Give us some tips, Denise, on how you can make that transition in style.
Yeah, well, often, and you know, a lot of people will have been colouring their hair possibly,
Forever.
or they've seen the first odd grey hair and they've started to colour, maybe with semi-permanents, and then they've gone on to low lights, stroke highlights, you know, and over the years, their own natural hair colour has slightly changed. Or you've stayed true to your own colouring and you're in between salt and pepper and a bit grey. It's often, the thing about it is, what people have to remember is the skin tone's changing. So if you've been constantly colouring to say the depth you were when you're 20s, the time you reach 60, your skin tone has changed so much.
Yeah.
And the hair colour starts to not be as flattering. So when you say to people, look, the word embrace the grey, take on the grey. In fact, I met a lady the other day saying, you should just let it go. And she just literally screamed, I can't do that, Robin, I'm old. And my husband won't find me attractive. Yeah. I just said, actually, you probably find you more attractive. But it's that, how do I do it? I think is the big question. And that is where it's actually not as difficult as you think.
Okay. So I love that you made that little scream, because I do think a lot of people feel very visceral about it, very emotional about it. And they do attach themselves to the 20, 30-year-old woman who, you know, there's not there anymore. But you're right about skin color. So as you get older, the gray really kind of goes with what you're evolving or transitioning into.
Yeah. And it's interesting what you said, you know, on that, about the 30, 40-year-old women, if not the 20, 30-year-old women. Yeah. Because the amount of women that are in their 50s, 60s and beyond that bring in a picture of a hairstyle when they were 25, stroke 30, and how they'd like to go back to that hairstyle. And you literally have to swallow and think, okay, how am I going to tell you this diplomatically? You're not, that girl was fabulous. You embraced her then, but you're not her now. You're this new person, which you have to empower as well.
I love that. I mean, you're actually having to be half psychologist, aren't you, as a hairdresser these days?
100% psychologist.
And it's true, because it's very emotional making that transition, even from 60 plus. So what can we do? I mean, you mentioned hair style. Well, I mean, I suppose keeping your hair in good shape and having it trimmed, that's part of the... Yeah,
and I think, you know, having your hair cut is a really important thing, because it keeps the ends lovely and healthy. Right. You know, if you've got silver in your house or a lovely wooden cabinet, you polish it every week because it just looks sparkly and fresh. Yeah. So if you don't take the ends off your hair, even if you're growing your hair, you want to stay the same, you just have a thing called dusting, take the ends off it just to polish it up again. And polished hair, it does look better. And, you know, the problem one has with grayer hair or white hair that it is shine. Yeah. Shine's always a problem.
Yeah. So trimming your hair regularly, getting that done, and then keeping it polished. I love that expression. But how do you polish hair? What are your techniques, Denise?
Well, there's a few things. I mean, obviously keeping it trimmed is one of the things, and maybe using serums, but not maybe using them as the young would maybe use them, and is using them slightly lighter, softer, massaging them into your head, not maybe taking them right through the roots and ends, just maybe dusting through the top, dusting it over your hair, and even just spraying it onto your hair and just kind of doing this. Okay. So then you move it into the hair. So it's not a solid, you know, the hair is now to 2 layers. So it can't be heavy. So you don't want heavy products. You don't want anything heavy.
So what products in your experience would you recommend? I mean, can you give us a couple of examples of these?
I'm very fond of Joico, which is a great range. It's an amazing range. And they have some lovely blonde shampoos, which sounds a bit strange, but they're great for someone with grey hair. Yeah. Because the thing with grey hair, stroke white hair, I hate the word grey because it is actually white hair, it picks up the atmosphere so quickly.
Yeah, static.
It dulls quite quickly. Yeah. So using a blonde shampoo and something, it just opens the cuticle a little and just puts a bit of sparkle back in. It's always a good idea. And also dry shampoos are a great idea. There's a KMS one, and I need to remember the name and give it to you.
Okay.
Quite a new product, a little grey tube, which is lovely because it's a slightly wetter dry shampoo, but it really just gives body into the roots, but you don't feel clammy, you don't feel dirty. It still feels healthy and shiny. Health, of course, and eating within.
Let me go back to the recommendation you made. Was it Joico? Is that a US brand or UK brand? I've never heard of it myself.
Joico is, actually you're going to catch me out now because I
is it Joy, like Joico?
Joic. Joico. Yeah,
okay, we'll find it. Okay.
I think it might even be Swedish.
Okay. I actually picked one up at the shop. It was a Wella product. It was called Luxe Oil.
Yeah, Luxe Oil is lovely.
And and it's funny, just before we came on, I did exactly what I must have been channeling you there, Denise, because I did exactly that. I rubbed it in my hands and just went like that because my hair, like you say, is quite dry. So,
yeah, and it does get a little bit drier. But with colouring, I mean, one of the great things is if you've coloured quite strongly, so you've obviously got these roots that have come in, and that's a bit of a dramatic stage. So that's where you maybe have to go for a slightly different hairstyle that's slightly more layered. Bit of graduation in it, so you take away a lot of the length and ends, but not going short. You go into a different look for a short time, and then what you could do is get your hairdresser to put in some low lights. So you start going in with foils. So you're doing foils that are the colour of the roots. So you start letting the grey come through with the dark.
Okay, you've actually answered the question in a really beautiful way, because what you said is, number one, trim your hair and keep it healthy, but then look at ways of transitioning. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. Yeah. Using these low lights, the same color as the roots, just to soften the process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got a girlfriend actually doing it right now, and she's 63, and she's a strong woman. She's a businesswoman. In fact, she's a woman that's just changed careers into interiors. Wow. So she's all about colour and always very stylish, but suddenly facing this hair that she just doesn't know what to do. So what we've done is we're allowing the hair to come through. We've layered it more, which is something very unusual for her because she's been a sharp bob all her life, which she will go back to. So we've layered it slightly more, a little bit softer, and then put some funky colours through the front. Something a little bit different,
like pink or blue.
In your eye of the roots happening, and then some low lights in here. So it's actually coming in really beautifully, and it's probably about February. It might be one more layered haircut, and she's going to have this lovely grey color. But then she's going to start having highlights, some highlights just to give the grey a little bit of a sparkle. Because if you've still got quite a lot of black in there, so you get that salt and pepper look.
Yes.
You need to add something in it to give it a bit more depth, or it looks flat.
A lot of people say this, Denise. I'm really happy that you mentioned this color, this highlights and lowlights, because a lot of people say, oh, well, if my gray hair came in like this model or like this picture, I wouldn't have any problem. But my hair is wiry and it's a black salt and pepper. It's not an attractive color. So you have to work with someone like you that can, really advise.
Yeah, and finding a great colorist, get confidence in the colors. And a colorist that doesn't just want to color all and wants to do the transition with you, and talks about skin tone. But rethink, when you do that, do think about the colors that you wear as well.
Right.
Give that a thought as well, your lipstick, your eyeshadow, because it's a big change. You have to change lipstick, change eyeshadow. Obviously, that's Ariane's area then.
No, well, Ariane and I talk about this quite a bit when we do our videos, and I'm really happy that you mentioned that. So I think we've got some really good ideas here. We've got keeping the hair trimmed, maybe going for a bit of a bob, using low lights and highlights, and watching, I guess, your health in general, keeping healthy physically.
100%. Hair is the barometer to your body. 100%. It really does tell the story. And, if you don't keep hair, you've got to keep your hair healthy. So be it by healthy eating, by supplements. We just mentioned water. Now I know I should drink more water because water is great for your skin and your hair because it keeps it hydrated, and it really does. The hair is something, if you took a supplement for hair, you know, they may say you'll get an effect after 3 months, but we all know it's going to be more like 6 months. But, you know, you really need to think about the vitamins and the antioxidants and the nutriments and the B6 and the B1s that you do take for your hair, because hair is dead. Hair is dead the minute it leaves your scalp. Yeah. So we're keeping it healthy, and the hair that's coming in and through the scalp, you want that to be healthy as well. So it really needs a great blood supply. So it comes to the next one, which is really important as one gets older, is exercise.
Yes, I know you were going to say that.
Exercise will give you healthy hair.
Yeah.
Now, I'm an advocate for that, and I need to take that on myself, because that is something I'm not doing enough of. Walking my dogs every day is just not quite enough. I need to do a little bit more cardiovascular.
All right, so we'll work on this together, because you're not alone in that, Denise, at all, by the way. So let me go back 1 second before we close on those vitamins you mentioned, because I don't want people to miss. What were the ones you said? Was it B12 you said?
I think B6s and B12s, biotin. You can get Viviscal do a nice complication. Imedeen do an amazing hair and nails.
Yes, Imedeen, I know, I've heard of.
Really, really lovely. I'm a big fan of Imedeen.
What was the other one, Denise, you said? Sorry, what was the other one you said?
Which is a little bit more towards the hair loss or the hair thinning area.
Okay.
Brilliant product, by the way, but I'm much more pro Viviscal, the one that you would buy in a hair salon, because it's got a very high amount of biotin, but that's something we can discuss in here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and by the way, Denise does work with a lot of brands, and so everything she recommends are companies that she knows very well. I mean, they come to her to ask for her advice, and so I'm really happy that to mention these names, because you make your own choices, of course, and take your own recommendation from the people you trust. But it's really great to have you as our resident expert here today, Denise.
Well, you've just got to think, if you're moisturizing your skin, you should be moisturizing your hair.
It makes sense. Okay, we've got lots more to talk about in other videos, but this is a good start on how to transition from gray hair. So thanks so much, Denise. Hi, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Our Patreon supporters help us to make a bigger difference in the lives of women over 60 all around the world. They get exclusive videos, live video shows, discounts, and much more. So please look for the link on this page. It is somewhere down here, up there. And join our tribe of women in our 60andMe community who are actually making a big difference in the world, challenging aging stereotypes. So thank you so much for your support.